Good morning ho sa lahat. Magandang umaga ho sa atin lahat. I know it's been a long time na hindi ho tayo nag-hold nung press conference for several reasons. One is that mahirap yung connections at mahirap yung facilitation ng press conference in the past months because of COVID. We were also equally busy with program implementation because we were trying to catch up with what we've not managed to implement in 2020. So the period 2021, especially the first quarter, has been a very busy months for us. But today, we're here to share with you updates from the regional government, and we'll try as much as we can to cover the essential issues affecting the Bangsamoro region as well as the Bangsamoro government itself. For starters, we will provide you an update on the status of the bills for the extension of the period of transition and the Bangsamoro Transition Authority pending now in Congress and in the Senate. As of last week, when the Senate and the House adjourned sine die, the parliamentary status of the bills are as follows. At the Senate, committee report has been submitted to the plenary and deliberations have already started. The last to interpolate is Senator Lacson. So only one remaining senator is to interpolate. From that process, we will proceed into the period of amendments. After the amendments, they will subject the same to second reading. After the second reading, technically, the bill is done because the third reading is actually just a ceremony for reading the title of the bill for the third reading. At the House of Representatives, the three committees tasked to deliberate on several bills filed by several members of Congress, including the congressman for the 2nd District of Maguindanao, Congressman Toto Mangudadato, and the Majority Floor Leader, Congressman Romualdez, have already conducted 3 committee hearings. So in reality, the bills pending in the House have been substantially discussed. From these committee deliberations, it will proceed to render its committee report, and from there, it will follow the same track as that of the Senate, where you will have period of interpellation and period of amendments, voting on second reading, and then finally the third reading. If the bills are substantially the same with that of the Senate, then we don't have to go to a bicameral conference committee. For this specific bill, we do not foresee a bicameral conference committee because the provisions are quite simple. One major provision deals with resetting the period of elections from 2022 moving to 2025. The second provision would essentially deal with the composition of the new Bangsamoro Transition Authority. The consensus in the Senate is that we will retain the original provisions of the organic law relative to composition. And essentially, there are just 3 essential components of the composition for members of the Bangsamoro Transition Authority. One is that it will, in accordance with the agreement of the parties and the provision of the organic law, it will be MILF-led. There will be participation by the Moro National Liberation Front, pursuant to the agreement of the parties, including the tripartite review of the government of the Philippines, the MNLF, and the Organization of Islamic Cooperation. Third is that there will be participation by the sectors mentioned in the organic law. So that essentially would be retained. Third is that a provision that deals with the issue of the status of the current members of the BTA and the appointments of the new set of the members of the BTA from the period when the law is passed up until 2025, or the period of the extended transition. So these are essentially the major provisions of the law. It's not a very complicated law, and therefore we do not foresee a variance in terms of the version coming from the House of Representatives and that of the Senate. Moving into major issues now in the Bangsamoro